What up, YouTube? Here's my second videos of Harvey tips. The reason why I took this long to make this video is because I already had done it. I already did this video, but then I changed so many things from the moment I did this video to the moment I actually wanted to publish it that I need to do it again. That's why it took forever. Yeah, so let's do this video over. Back to square one. So first video was about how to set up your computer. Yes, everybody told me how stupid I was from not knowing which Windows it was, but I have a valid explanation, some sort of valid. It's because I have a lot of computers and they all have different Windows and I just wasn't paying attention and it looks stupid. Point is, moving on. Here we are, how to set up your Counter-Strike. Let's go right from the start. So first of all, let's go on my desktop. Follow the link that is in my comments. You're gonna have a file, a folder that I shared with a bunch of configs that I use, so you can like download them and do whatever with them. So let me show you what it is. Okay, so this is the folder that I have, all my CFGs. Okay, first of all, you need to turn on your Counter-Strike once. I know this sounds very silly, but if you're opening your Counter-Strike for the first time at a LAN with your own Steam ID, you're gonna have to redo it at least once to be able to update your settings properly. So update your settings properly and everything will be fine. I mean, start your Counter-Strike at least once and then close it right away. Right click on your Counter-Strike here, go to properties, and then you have an option. It's called set launch option. You're gonna copy basically what I have in my comments as well. I use the noforcemaccels and noforcemparms. Still, these are old school commands. Honestly, everything I'm going to tell you today, I don't know 100% if it's optimized for the best Counter-Strike that you'll ever have. And every player has a preference, and every pro has a preference. Like, I know people that don't use those, I know people that use those. All I know is I use them, and like I don't want to play without it, so I just use them. So I play with the novid, obviously, so you don't have a video when you turn on your CS. I use refresh 120 Hz. I don't use 144. So I never got used to it. I just stick it to 120. CL, show FPS at the top left of the screen. FPS max, I just look at it at 90. The new rates that if your ISP can handle it, that means if you have more than 5 upload, I think you should use these rates. 5 uploads or downloads. I think it's download. So use these rates. How to execute your autoexec. I'll show you how to use that later on. High. Some people don't use high anymore with specific windows because apparently it can really mess up your computers. For me, it's always been successful. So on the computers I have right now, I use it. Console, obviously, it's to activate the console, but honestly, I don't think you even need that anymore. And tickrate 120 is important if you create your own servers and practice your nades, which is something I'm going to show in another video. But for now, I just leave it on all the time so that when I start my Counter-Strike, it's always at 128 tick rates. Also, if you play on servers that don't enforce it and you don't have it in your launch command, it's really annoying because you have to do it every time you start Counter-Strike. So yeah, so add that in your launch commands. Once that it's done, I'm curious to see which games I'm downloading right now. Okay, anyway, once that it's done, let's check out how to put the configs that I'm going to show you how to use. So I use two things. So I use my autoexec and I use my config, right? Why do I use two? For me, it's pretty simple. I use my config, which is like every single one of my buttons, but in that area, I can just, if anything goes wrong for whatever reason, I can use default, and I remember like most of the bindings, I can just change it in the menus, right? There's a couple of things that I can't change in the menus, so I put it in my autoexec just in case I want to reset my configs and start over, but I don't want to reset my autoexec, right? They are to be put in two different folders that I'm going to show you right now, and I can talk to you a little bit about my autoexec. Let's move it so you guys can see, but I'm basically explaining it in the document. I just worked on it last week. Okay, so Harvey, autoexec of special stuff. Right now there's a new feature in the game that hasn't been banned by anyone or any tournaments, so I'm using the feature which is CL show team equipment. I'm using it in the game. Two things. First of all, every time you restart your Counter-Strike, that command disappears, so you have to put it in your autoexec or else it will always disappear. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that there's a bug right now, it doesn't refresh. So if someone has like a grenade and uses it, you will still see that person with a grenade, although that person doesn't have it. So I binded my WASD keys, which I press all the time, obviously because I'm playing Counter-Strike. So I binded these keys to show and unshow the equipment every time I press on it, so it auto refreshes. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It works pretty well. I've used it all of yesterday and it worked really well. My show loadout, like, you know, at the bottom right of the game, the grenades and stuff, it always disappears. Every time I turn on my Counter-Strike and I go into my menu, it says loadout off for some reason, and I want it always on. So I just added it in my autoexec, so it's always on. I don't know why, I'm just fed up, so I just added it. I have two jump binds. I have a 2-button bind that is legal at every single tournament. So if I take out a grenade and I press on K and L at the same time, I'll throw something, but sometimes it's not accurate. So for whatever reason, for really specific, really difficult smokes, I'll use the 1-button bind, which needs to be implemented with the alias. So I use G and K and L. K and L is the double one, and G for jump is my jump throw, so it makes it easy. There's also a remove decal command that it will remove blood stains and that kind of stuff, so sometimes it's important to press on it. So I just press it, bind it to space, which is also my mumble key. This is where I talk to my teammates. So it activates automatically without me seeing it. So if I'm shooting and I'm talking, it'll clear the map. You can also bind it to one of the ASD thing, but I assume it's just, I put it on my mumble key, so it's better. And these are my demos. My demos bind, so I have a couple. O for, it looks like a grenade, O. Anyway, I give, like, whenever I'm in a server and I want to buy nades and stuff and spawn to make it easier, instead of having to buy all 4 nades at least once when I have infinite ammo, I just press on O and I buy all the nades. So when we're doing dry runs and shit with the team in our private server, I can just press on O and I automatically, like F1 and O, because F1 buys everything default, and then you press on O and I get all the nades. And then I have all my demo binds, which is slow down a demo, put a demo at normal speed, and fast forward a demo, and then pause the demo. That way when I'm like learning new smokes or new strats, or I'm trying to see where everyone is on the map, I can just use all these binds. And on my Corsair keyboard, it has little pause, play buttons already on F9, F10, F11, F12, so I just put in the same spots. So for me it was easy. And then the last thing, it's something that Days shows in the video, the showing goal for pop flash, that it shows like the position on the map, so I just activated that. So that's all stuff that are like kind of hard to remember, that if I go to a LAN, I don't really want to have to remember those if my config doesn't work or if something goes wrong. So I just put it in autoexec. And then my regular config as like just the regular stuff. Obviously I have a really important bind, which says in ESCA pugs toxic lul, and then a little face like this, which honestly I need to use every single scrim because I get harassed with talk shit every single scrim. You would think that I'm joking, but watch my stream. But the other things that I would say that is super important in this would be the rates. So the rates I told you about, so it's the CMD rates. Make sure to change it to 128. That's super important. And then the update rates 128. So you need to change those two for damn sure whenever you start your computer, your CS, and then FPS max. Well, usually there's also FPS max command. Okay, I don't see it. Anyway, you put it in the launch command, so you should be fine with it. And that's basically the biggest things that I would change from your configs like that, like right from the get-go. So where do you put these two files? Right? You open a document, you open a folder, I mean, and then you go to, personally, I put a shortcut because it's much easier to use the shortcut because I'm always in that freaking folder to put demos in it, but I'll just show you how to do it. So you go to your Steam folder, wherever your Steam folder is, and then that's where it gets quote-unquote complicated because you have to put these two documents at two different spots. So you have your config and your autoexec. And the reason why I told you to turn on your CS at least once before doing this is because you need to put the config one in your user data and not in the config Counter-Strike folder, which is really stupid, but at the same time makes a lot of sense. In your user data, you're gonna see all the Steam IDs of people that played on their computer. As you can see, I have a lot of friends that use my computer and their Steam IDs. I know that this one is mine because it's the shortest and my Steam is really old. So you click on that one, but usually if you just turn on your CS for the first time, it will say like the date of today. So if I go to a LAN and there's like 15 folders, I'll just use like today's date and I know it just created my folder. And then in there, all the numbers here are different games that you played on your computer that use the user data, which is unique to your own Steam. So if you played a game on multiple accounts, it will switch depending on which account you're on, like your configs, right? So CSGO is 730. So you click on 730 and then you need to click on local and then CFG. And if you don't open your CS at first of all, your Steam ID might not be there, could be there, but 730 might not be there, or it could be there depending if someone else used CS on that PC or not. And then local and CFG definitely won't be there, so you need to put that on for damn sure. Then we're gonna do it together on because I haven't changed any of those in so long. So I'm just gonna delete those and we're gonna do it together. So I also put my video and my video default, but I honestly that's a question of preference, so you should not necessarily copy my things here because they might not be good for you. Okay, so just put config video default and video. Okay, if you don't use Notepad Plus, it's much better than the regular Notepad, because if I open this with more option Notepad, here is my config. It's all fucked up, right? It's really hard to use. But if I use it with Notepad Plus, it's actually very clear and easy to use and really easy to edit, right? So I use Notepad Plus for like everything. Point is, here's my config, and here are my video settings. Let me see, choose default program, please use Notepad Plus, thank you. So my config is in there, so we're Gucci for that. Next time I start Counter-Strike, my video defaults and config should be good. Then let's see where I need to put my autoexec. So you need to go back to the Steam folder, and instead of user data, you go to Steam apps, you go to common, and then you go to your Counter-Strike folder. Your Counter-Strike folder should look like this. You click on CSGO, and this is where you drop your demos if you're watching demos, by the way. So in that folder, I open the CFG, and then this is where I put all my custom CFGs, or that I put my autoexec. So we're gonna download my autoexec, put it on the desktop, and then we're gonna put it in here. I already have autoexec, which I'm gonna delete, I'm gonna take this and put it in there. The important thing that you need to remember about this is everyone that's gonna use this computer is gonna have an autoexec being started, and no matter if they change Steam ID or whatnot, this is in the common Counter-Strike CSGO folder, so they're always gonna have your autoexec stuff in there, which if you're sharing your computer with your brother, or I don't freaking know, then that's not good, right? So if you guys want, you can also put that autoexec in. Everything I put in there, you guys can put it directly in the CFG file as well. The only thing is that if you reset all of your, like let's say you decide to clean up and use like in CSGO, like clear whatever, it'll mess up, like you'll lose all of it, right? So that's basically why the autoexec, I put like it's really special stuff on its own. So there you are, you updated 2 of your config to be just like mine, and whenever I explain how to do my nades video, I'm gonna take nades and one-on-one CFG and I'm put it in the same folder. So if you're like me and are a nerd, do that right away, so you're gonna save a lot of time. So let's open Counter-Strike here. All right, once that the game is open, as you can see, my resolution is kind of weird. So for me, I use 4:3 and I use a 1280 by 960. It's currently Gold Series res, and a lot of rifles res. That's why I'm using it. This is basically a preference. Some people use native, some people use a ton of things. So just Google pro player resolution, you'll see anybody, like people use everything. It's just a matter of preference. Yeah, I use stretched, and yeah. So in the advanced video option, what's really important is only the shadow quality. And honestly, sometimes I use eye, sometimes I use medium. I'm using eyes these days. It's important because if you lower that, you might not see enemies like on Dust 2 Catwalk. There's a shadow at the bottom of the map, but if you don't have that, then you don't see the shadows. So it's actually a gameplay sensitive settings. All the others are not. They're not. So just lower it. As far as here, sometimes depending on the quality of my computer, I use 4x because my resolution is good, but I know there's a link between the resolution you're using and also using those. And I've seen people use bilinear, and like most people use 8x though, but yeah. So honestly, I'm probably not the best person to help you out why you should use X and Y. I just know that with this specific PC, I use 4x, but with my PC in the other room, someone told me to use 8x, so I just do that. And I listen and I don't complain. Just kidding, but yeah. So in the game settings, let me show you a couple things that you should switch right when you start your game. First of all, you should definitely enable developer console so you can like press on console, which is super important. Then I use light blue because I think for the crosshair, because I think honestly it's the best crosshair color to use on any map. If you use yellow, sometimes it's bad on some maps. I just don't like default green, stuff like that. I just really like light blue, and then it's just a matter of preference, right? For all of those, except a couple of things. It's the first time you're playing CS. Obviously, do not have switch weapon on pickup activated. You should change always show inventory, like I told you earlier. You should definitely change your radar UD size, and I definitely don't have the toggle shit with scoreboard, but you should definitely change your radar UD size because it is in the zoom, because sometimes the bomb is seen at the other bomb site, but you can't see it because your radar is too zoomed in. So I think that's super important. Yeah, so I change all of those. Then in the audio settings, there's some stuff that is super important that you need to change. First of all, please use HRTF. Still today, people that I play with in pugs and stuff that don't use HRTF, I can hear stuff they can hear, or whatever they are hearing, they don't know where it's coming from. So it takes maybe a day or two to get used to it, but then after it's much better. So just use it. I know it was bad when it came out, but they fixed most of the issues. Please shut the fuck up and just use it. In the music option, something is new that they added a short time ago, it was a 10-second warning volume, you have to use that as well. So whenever the bomb's about to tick and you can't diffuse it anymore and that kind of stuff, the music will come out and you have to have it on. So the trick is to put your master volume on like pretty low, like 0.09. What I'm doing is like super low. Turn off everything else. Legit, you're gonna have to do this, turn off everything else. And then when you get to the 10-second warning volume, you keep it at 1. So basically you're activating music in CS just for that part, because it's actually like some sort of quote-unquote cheat. So you should use it. So yeah. And is there anything else that I changed? In the audio, no. And that's one thing that came out after I made my last video, so I'm glad I have to redo it. I also wasn't using HRTF, and I also wasn't using the 10-second warning volume, so that's super important. So yeah, in the game settings, there's nothing else that we can talk about. I'm trying to think if I'm not forgetting anything. Oh yeah, here, show colors. I think this is super important. Show teammate color and competitive. So just activate that, please. I have a video talked about how the design of this should be done. But yeah, and I assume the show color in letters is probably for colorblind people. Anyway, something that I didn't know before. Point is, this is how you should set up your Counter-Strike. Let's go back to the main menu. So this was my tutorial on how to set up your Counter-Strike properly. There's already a set up your PC first, and now I set up your Counter-Strike. And the next one will probably be how to practice your grenades, nades, flashes, and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you how to set up your own server without having to pay a dime, and you can practice stuff at home by yourself. It's very, very easy. Very, very easy. On that note, I hope you like my videos. Drop a sub, drop a little click on the sub button. It really, really helps my channel. And I love you guys and I appreciate it. Bye.